Hello and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we're introducing this awesome brand new die called the Shadow Box Card. It's interactive and super cool, so let's go ahead and check it out. So this is what a shadow box card looks like. It's so cool. It's like a little shadow box diorama, three-dimensional scene, but it folds flat and fits in a standard size envelope so it's easy to mail, and it even works with the scallop box card pop-up inserts too, and I'm going to show you how to do that at the end of the video. So this die here is the main die of the set, and it creates two embossed lines for you. And then we have windows that you can cut out of this. So we have an oval window and a rectangle window, and all you need to do is center it there on the left part of that die cut. Once I have it nice and centered, I'm going to hold it in place with some low-tack tape, and then I'm going to run it through my die cut machine, and you'll see that it creates this beautiful stitched window opening. The same thing happens with the oval, that great, gorgeous stitch detail. Now, to create a shadow box card, you need two pieces, one with an opening and one without. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold along the embossed lines that the die created for you. So there's one there sort of in the middle. We're going to fold along that and then use our bone folder to make a nice crisp crease. And then we're going to fold along the little tab piece at the end. And once again, create a nice crisp crease there with my bone folder. Then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the window side. So I'm going to fold along that middle-ish line there, and then I'm also going to fold along that tab. Then the next step is to add some nice strong tape to those tabs. So I like to use the 1/8 inch Scor-tape. It works really, really well. And so I'm just going to take that and put that right along those tab edges. The next step is to connect these into one long piece. So what I like to do is I put my window on my right, and then I peel off that tab length. I'm going to line those two out, kind of butt them up against each other. And then when I do that, I'm just going to fold that tab over, and that's going to create my one long piece that I need to work with. Now next up, we're going to work with these insert tabs that the die set comes with. So they create this beautiful kind of stitched hillside, and they have two little small tabs, one on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and fold along that embossed line that the die created for me, folding along those tabs on both sides. And then, just like the main part of the box, we're going to take that 1/8 inch Scor-tape, that nice strong tape, and we are going to put that tape on all of the tabs, so on either side of both of those hills. Now it's time to add these insert tabs into the box. Now these two hills are actually different. One is shorter, so you'll see here that I have the shorter one and then the taller one. So I like to put the shorter one in front. That way you can really see more of the hills and kind of that really cool stitching detail, but you can do either way. And then once I know which order I am going to put them in, I can start to line them up in my box. So here you'll see I have 2 tabs, but you could put 3 tabs or 4 tabs. You can have a lot of fun with it. But for right now, we're just going to work with the 2 tabs. So what I'm going to do is line that up right along the bottom edge of the box, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and kind of put them equidistant from each other. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to look cool no matter what. Then I'm going to fold them flat just like that, then fold the right side over and then fold the left side over. So I'm going to repeat that again. So I'm going to peel off that liner tape just like that. Then we're going to peel off the liner tape on that other tab. We're going to hold those hills flat and straight with the bottom. Then we're going to take that right side and we're going to fold it over like a book, picking up the adhesive on those hills. Then we're going to take the left side and fold it over and pick up the adhesive on that tab there. And this is going to form this awesome three-dimensional shadow box, almost diorama type scene. Now once you have your box formed, I like to play with it, kind of folding it flat either way, just like that, so that I know that when the recipient opens it, it's going to move really, really well. So I just wanted to show you how to put one of these together again. We peeled off the liner tape there. We're going to butt them up against each other and fold that tab down, creating one long piece. Now we're going to insert these little pieces, but the oval window is much higher and much smaller than that rectangular window. So I'm going to take those hills there and actually place them up a little bit higher until I get the perfect look that I want. Then I'll do the same thing with the other hill. I'm going to kind of look through that window, see where I think it would look really nice, and now I've got them in perfect placement. So I'm going to fold those flat again and just make sure that those are nice and straight. I'm going to peel up the liner tape on all of the tabs, and once again I'm going to fold that one side shut and then fold the other side shut. So the reason that I'm adding the inserts in before the box is formed is it's actually much easier to do it this way. It's quite hard to add the inserts in once the box is formed because it's really hard to get them perfectly straight. If you put the inserts in when the box is open and close it like this completely flat, you know that those inserts are always going to be straight no matter what. Now, the other awesome part about this is that it fits in a standard envelope with standard postage. And then when the recipient gets it, they pull it out and it opens up into this amazing three-dimensional scene. Now, one of the other dies that this set comes with is this little side panel, and it's a great little stitched rectangle. So you can cut panels just like this that you can decorate the outside edges of the box if you would like to or not, which is really cool. Then next up, this die also comes with all of these scene building elements. So first up we have this cute little bird, and you can add that little feather to the bird for some extra detail. And then we have these great trees in 3 different sizes. So we have the trunks and the leaves. Here I did them in white, kind of like little snowy trees, but you could do them for spring, for fall, for summer. So you could have a lot of fun adding these trees to these fun shadow box scenes. And then here are some branches and some leaves that you can add to those branches. You can also stand them up and have them function as trees too, which is really, really cool. And the little bird is super cute hanging out on this branch also. And so these are perfect for adding to shadow box scenes, but also other scenes on cards too. So here you can see some cute little trees in those hills there, which is so awesome. And then this little branch there coming out the side of that oval window, I just love so much with the bird on it. And then this is a super cute sample by Yainea that shows all of these dies in action, which I love this card so much. So now it's time to actually make a shadow box. So I'm going to cut one of the pieces from some black cardstock, and then I'm actually just going to lay that window right into the die there, hold it in place with some tape, and run that through just one pass of my die cut machine, and I'll have my window section of my shadow box. I'm also going to cut out 2 noble fir green hills. So I'm going to go ahead and fold along all of those lines that the die created for me, both the middle-ish line and then the tabs, and then I'm going to add some nice strong Scor-tape to both of those tabs. I'm also going to fold the tabs on the hills and add some Scor-tape to those tabs too. Then I'll remove that liner tape there, and I'm going to butt them up against each other, pressing that tab down to create one long piece. Then I'm going to add my little green hills. So I'm going to kind of just make them equidistant from each other, just kind of eyeballing it, putting them both in. And then I'm going to decorate the inside before I'm going to glue everything together. So I'm trimming down some Watercolor Wishes paper, and I'm going to lay that in the back to be my Halloween sky. I've also die cut a cute cobweb out of some white cardstock, and I'm going to lay that in the back of my scene too. Then now I can take my hills and fold them completely flat. I'm going to lift up the liner tape on both of the hills, and then I'm going to lay that piece flat there, the piece on the right. Then I'm going to remove the liner tape on that tab piece, and then the left piece is going to fold down, connecting the whole box together. Now that my box is formed, I'm going to go ahead and kind of play with it a little bit. So I'm going to open it up, which is my favorite part, and then I'm going to fold it flat one way and fold it flat the other way, just making sure that it's going to fit in my envelope nicely. Now here I have a bunch of cute trick-or-treaters from the costume party stamp set, and so I'm going to give them some little trick-or-treat buckets and a bowl full of candy, and I'm going to layer them in my scene. And what I love about these shadow box cards is they're actually really easy to make, because when you start layering in your stamped images, the dimension is so incredible. So just those 3 stamped images, really simple, look so cool. I've stamped out Trick or Treat from Costume Party 2, and I'm going to use an extra sentiment banner there to cut it out. I'll add some adhesive to the back of that banner, and I'm going to add that to the top of my box to be my sentiment, which I think is super, super cute. And there is my finished box. I love how 3-dimensional it is, how cool it is. It's just so unique and fun. And then the fact that I can fold it flat and then fit it in an envelope is just too awesome. So that's a really cool way to send a 3-dimensional card to someone, but it's super, super easy to mail. So you'll see right here when I take it out on the back of the card, that's where I would write my message, because then they can still display it as a little decoration, but then you can still send your greeting along with the card too. Now, one of the things I love about the shadow box card is that it can work for any season, any holiday, any event. All you need to do is change up your colors and your stamps. So I thought it would be fun to make a Christmas one. So here I've got our new Beary Happy Holidays stamp set, and I've gone ahead and stamped those out, and I'm going to color them really simply. I'm just going along with a nice light gray marker all along the bears just to give them a little detail, and just kind of coloring everything in nice and easy and die cutting all of those images. Then I'm going to stamp out a Banner-tastic banner and stamp the Happy Holidays sentiment from the Beary Happy Holidays and die cut that also. I've gone ahead and cut out my window just like I did for my other box, and I've layered those together to be one long piece. Here I have some perfectly plaid chill paper, and I thought that using the plaid would be really cool for the sky in the background. It's kind of something just a little bit different. So I'm going to add my sky there, and then next I can start to work on my hills. So I'm going to put these in just like I did with my little trick-or-treat cards. I'm going to kind of make them equidistant. I'm going to fold them flat. Then I'll take off that liner tape and expose that adhesive, and then I can go ahead and fold that right side down, picking up those hills. And then this is the moment right here where I realized that I forgot to do something. So I stopped right here in the middle, and I decided to stamp the best wishes to you and your family on the back of the card. And it's just easier to stamp before the whole card is made, but it's a nice way to include kind of the second part of the sentiment on the back where you're going to write your message. And then now I can finally form that box. And I never get over when you form the box and you open it, just how cool it is. So now this box is ready to decorate. So I'm going to go ahead and put that cute little Banner-tastic banner right on top. I love how wonderful those banners look on the top of the shadow box. And then I can go ahead and start to take all those cute little Beary Happy Holidays bears and give them all of their accessories there and create a cute scene, a little ice fishing scene with those bears. So I'm just going to layer everything, kind of filling in the whole scene and creating some really cool dimension. And then here I wanted to show you that even with that Banner-tastic banner, it actually still fits inside a standard A2 envelope, which is so, so cool. Now for my next shadow box, I'm actually going to be using something from the scalloped box card pop-up. So I'm going to show you guys that in a second. But first up, I just had to create a galaxy scene for my shadow box. I love making these galaxies. I think they're so much fun, and I just kind of get really messy with it, and I just have a blast. So I'm going to make a bunch of kind of messy, blobby things with light blues, dark blues, reds, purples, turquoises, just kind of layering them and making it look super messy. And then I'm going to dry that whole layer there and then add on some darker blues. And then I'll go ahead and dry that layer too. And now the really scary part, I'm going to add the black on. And every time I do this, I'm worried I've ruined it, but it actually ends up looking really cool. So I'm going to dry that black on there and then add just a little bit more black in the areas that were a bit too light. Dry it off, and then I can take off my watercolor paper here from my clipboard, and you can see how it's looking really cool but still a little weird. So here I have some Copic opaque white, but some white acrylic paint would work too, and I have an old toothbrush, and so I'm going to stick my toothbrush in this white paint and then flick off the edge of the toothbrush onto this kind of messy galaxy background. And once you add those stars is when this starts to look so super cool. It really just looks incredible. I've gone ahead and cut my shadow box pieces from some blue Jay cardstock, but I wanted to give it a little extra something. So I'm going to take some black soot distress ink and just ink all around the edges to kind of go along with this galaxy night sky theme I'm going on. So I'm just starting off of the paper and then going on in really light strokes and just giving the paper just a little extra something going on. Then I went ahead and formed the long piece of the box, and then I'm just adding some black soot there to the edges where it's folded just to give it some even more extra dimension. I've gone ahead and colored and die cut some critters from Upon a Star, and then here is the scalloped boxcard pop-up. So that insert piece from the boxcard pop-up, that's actually interchangeable with the shadow box card, so they both can work with each other. You could use them in either one. So I went ahead and cut 3 of those inserts there using the scalloped boxcard pop-up insert, and I'm die cutting them with puffy cloud borders. And this is how I'm going to create an insert for the shadow box card that isn't just a stitched hill. So I'm just going to lay those puffy cloud borders on there, die cutting these really cool clouds, and then I'm going to fold along the tabs that the insert there created for me. Now I wanted some of these to be a little bit shorter, so I'm going to put it in my paper trimmer there and just trim it down. That way I can have kind of a shorter cloud in the front and then taller clouds in the back. So that's one thing I love about using the boxcar pop-up inserts, is that you can really customize how your shadow box is going to look. So I'm going and trimming down that galaxy sky that I created so that I can line the inside of my box card with this really cool galaxy sky. So I'm just using some tape runner on the back of those watercolored pieces, and I'm just going to lay it all along the inside of the box. So we're kind of stepping it up a little bit because we're decorating the sides and not just the back. Now it's time to work with those cool custom inserts we created. So I'm going to add some of that Scor-tape on all of the tabs, and I'm going to start layering them in the box. I'm going to put 3 of them inside the box. I'm just kind of putting them equidistant from each other, and then I checked it to see what it was going to look like, and the back clouds, you could barely see them. So I'm just going to pop them up a little bit higher, and you'll see that it's really going to give some cool dimension. So now that I've got those how I like them, I can lay them all flat, remove all of the liner tape, and then I can fold the right side down, picking up that tape, and then I can peel the liner tape off that other tab and line up my whole box that way too. And now my most favorite part of the shadow box is popping it up for the first time and seeing just how cool it looks. Now I'm going to use that little extra die that it comes with that stitch rectangle and cut some more of that galaxy paper that I created, and also decorate the outside edges too. So there's cool galaxy all over the box. And then I've left the back blank there so that I can write my message later. So now I'm going to add those cute little critters there from Upon a Star into my clouds, and they're just looking so adorable, and I thought that they needed some constellations to look up on. So I've stamped with some Versamark ink on some black cardstock the constellations from Upon a Star, and I'm going to use some white heat embossing powder along these constellations, which is really going to make them pop and look really cool against that galaxy sky. So now that I've got my white heat embossing powder on there, I can go ahead and heat them up, and they're going to be nice and shiny and bright and white. And then I can use my coordinating dies to die cut them all out. So next I'm going to cut up some hard plastic, so you can use kind of like a takeout container or some packaging from a product. And so I'm going to cut it in a really thin little strip, and I'm going to be adding those to my constellation. So I'm adding some adhesive there to 2 of the stars there on my Big Dipper, and I'm going to go ahead and attach those pieces of plastic to the stars. Then I can add a little adhesive tape to the bottom of those acetate strips, and then that way I can hide them behind the clouds. So I'm just going to tuck it right behind those clouds there, and it's going to create this really cool 3-dimensional scene like the constellations are floating in the sky. And so I'm going to keep doing the same thing. So I've added some more to that other constellation. Then I'm going to take one constellation and actually glue it to the back there for even more dimension, and I wanted even one more layer. So I'm taking one of my hills there, the little layered hills that come with the shadow box card, and I've trimmed off the hill part, and I'm adding some tape to those little tabs that the die created for me, and I'm just going to tuck this right in there, and no one's ever going to see it because it's going to hide behind my clouds, but it's going to give me one more layer for my constellations to be floating in. So I'm just going to kind of pop it into the box, make sure that it glues well on both sides, and then now it's ready to add another constellation to it. So I'm going to drop that constellation in on that 4th layer, and now there's like 5 layers of dimension of the constellation, so it looks super cool. And so there you can see how that 4th layer is right there, but it's hiding behind the clouds, but giving even extra dimension. I just love it so much. Okay, so I went like a little layer happy, and I wanted another layer. So I cut another piece of some Puffy cloud die cut paper there, and I'm going to glue that right on the outside of the box. And now there's like clouds everywhere, and there's stars everywhere, and galaxy everywhere, and it's just so cool. I love playing with it and looking at it, and I cannot wait to send this to someone. Now next up, I wanted to show you some amazing shadow box cards by the design team. They have blown me away so much. So Debbie here from the office created these adorable little woodland scenes. I love how she used the knock on wood grain paper for her box. I think it just looks so cute. They're just so sweet. And then Shari got super creative, and she actually turned the box on its side, and she used one of our everyday pop-ups to create a pop-up to hold up that little scarecrow, and I think that is just absolutely adorable. Lizzie created a super cute Halloween scene, and I love how she has that starry backdrop in the background there. And then I love this card by Elise. I love the birthday scene. It's such a cute and adorable idea. Nicole had a ton of fun creating a magical card with the costume party unicorn, and I love how she used the trees from the die set in there. And then this card by Lynette is so sweet. I love that her characters are on the outside of the oval window. Melissa created another adorable fall scene. I just love how they've got the little apple. It's just so sweet, and that banner on there is so cool. And Yania's beautiful orange glow and all of that dimension she created in there just blows me away. I love that Audrey created a summery themed shadow box card. You can really create anything with this cool die. And then Nicole blew me away with her monochromatic Halloween scene. She has so much dimension. I love how she has the bat there floating on a piece of acetate. Just so cool. And then Letitia decided to make a Christmas card with it, which is also so adorable. So this is what I've been waiting for the most. I cannot wait to see what you guys create with the shadow box card die, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!